Have you ever been at rock bottom so low that you couldn't even recognize the man staring back at you? The weight of failure crushing your chest, the echoes of mistakes ringing in your head, the world feels like it's closing in and every part of you wants to give up. But here's the truth. Falling is inevitable. Staying down is a choice. In this video, we're diving deep into 4 unbreakable laws to rise after you fall. These aren't just motivational phrases, they're timeless principles forged in the fires of real-life struggle, anchored in biblical truth, and sharpened by the stories of men who refused to let their lowest moments define them. You'll learn how great men throughout history, like Theodore Roosevelt, who was sickly, heartbroken, and politically humiliated before forging himself into one of the boldest presidents America has ever known, and Job, a man in the Bible who lost everything, his health, his wealth, even his children, yet refused to curse God and was later restored and honored beyond measure. These men didn't just rise again, they rose stronger, wiser, and unbreakable. We'll break down the mindset, the discipline, and the spiritual foundation you need to rise again, no matter how deep the fall. Because when a man falls, it isn't the end of his story, it's the beginning of his comeback. So if you're ready to transform your downfall into your greatest rise, make sure you like this video, share it with a brother who needs this encouragement, and subscribe so you never miss a message that could change your life. And don't forget to drop a comment below. Let us know what fall you're determined to rise from today. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The Law of Acceptance. You must own your fall before you can rise. Every rise begins with a reckoning. The first law, the one too many men resist, is this: you cannot rise from what you refuse to accept. Denial is easy, blame is even easier, but neither of them builds a man. What builds a man is the courage to stare his own failure in the face and say, "This is mine, I own it, and I will rise from it." A man can't change what he won't claim. History remembers those who fell and faced it. Take Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic Roman emperor. He didn't run from hardship, he journaled through it. In Meditations, he wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." What does that mean? It means your fall is not your death sentence. It's your training ground, but only if you're man enough to face it. The Bible, too, speaks clearly about the power of facing the truth. In Proverbs 28:13 it says, "Whoever conceals their sins does not prosper, but the one who confesses and renounces them finds mercy." There is no rising without repentance, no healing without humility. You don't rise by pretending it didn't happen. You rise by confessing, learning, and rebuilding with wisdom. There is strength in saying, "I messed up." That kind of truth-telling is rare, but it is powerful. When you can look at your broken marriage, your lost job, your bad choices and say, "I did this." You just took the first swing at rebuilding your life. It's not weakness. It's the deepest kind of masculine strength, responsibility. The man who owns his mistake owns his power to change. You must silence the ego that defends and excuses. Your ego will try to protect you with lies. It wasn't all your fault. You were just unlucky. They betrayed you. And maybe some of that is true. But healing doesn't come through excuses, it comes through honesty, and if you want the crown, you've got to own the cross that comes before it. Acceptance is not self-hate, it's self-honor. It's honoring your future by dealing honestly with your past. It's saying, "I'm not proud of where I've been, but I'm determined to get where I'm going." Accepting your fall doesn't make you weak, it makes you wise, because once you own your truth, you can build on it. Let's be clear, this law is not easy. It never will be. Facing your flaws is uncomfortable. Owning your fall is humbling. But it's the only path to true peace. The man who denies his pain carries it forever. But the man who accepts it, understands it, and grows from it, that man is unstoppable. Look back so you can move forward. Don't camp out in your guilt, but don't run from it either. Study it, learn from it, use it. Every scar on your soul is a reminder of something you survived, and every lesson you pull from the fall becomes a brick in your foundation for the rise. Here's the truth. Few will tell you. The faster you accept where you are, the faster you can start moving toward where you're meant to be. That's the law. You don't heal by hiding, you heal by facing, and once you've faced it, once you've stood before the ruins and taken full ownership, you're ready to start rebuilding. So today, take the first step toward your comeback. Don't just admit what happened, own it. Wear it like armor, use it as fuel, and rise from it like a man who refuses to let failure be his final chapter. Drop a comment below. I will own my fall and rise stronger. Chapter 2. The Law of Responsibility. Become the man who wouldn't fall the same way. Twice. Owning the fall is only the beginning. Once you've accepted your mistake, the next step is becoming the kind of man who never makes that same mistake again. That's the law of responsibility. It means stepping into a new level of maturity, discipline, and leadership over your own life. It means rebuilding your character from the inside out. You can't change the past, but you can change who you are because of it. Too many men try to bounce back without changing the blueprint of their life. But if your decisions, habits, and mindset remain the same, you will fall the same way again. And next time, it may cost even more. You can't rise like a king while still thinking like a fool. Every man who rises must become his own leader. That's what Frederick Douglass did. Born into slavery, denied education, beaten and broken, he rose. But he didn't rise by waiting for rescue. He rose by mastering himself. He taught himself to read, to write, to speak, and eventually to lead. He said, "It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men." But here's the truth. Sometimes you have to be that broken man and rebuild yourself anyway. The Bible is clear about the power of personal responsibility. In Galatians 6:5 it says, "For each one should carry their own load. No one is coming to save you. No one owes you healing. You can have support. You can have grace. But the work, that's yours. Responsibility is not a punishment. It's your path to power. Start with your habits. The man who fell must die, and the man who rises must be built with discipline. That means rising earlier, speaking with clarity, moving with purpose, and thinking before acting. It means cutting ties with what weakens you. You don't get a new life with the same lazy patterns. Change begins with the small things. What you eat, what you say, what you allow. Your thoughts shape your world. As the Bible says in Proverbs 23:7, "As a man thinks in his heart, so is he." If you keep thinking like a victim, you will live like one. But when your thoughts shift from "Why did this happen to me?" to "What must I now become?" you take back your authority. That's where the rise begins, in your mind. Character is what separates temporary recovery from lasting redemption. A man can bounce back for a moment, but only a man who takes responsibility will build a life that lasts. That means integrity in the dark, discipline when no one is watching, honor even when it costs. Rise not just to prove others wrong, rise to prove yourself right. Look at every weakness that led to your fall and strengthen it. If it was pride, develop humility. If it was anger, pursue peace. If it was lust, chase purity. If it was laziness, train discipline. This is not about perfection, it's about direction. Becoming a man who would never fall the same way twice is about relentless progress. This is what true responsibility looks like. It's not just paying for your past, it's preparing for your future. It's building a version of yourself who would survive that same storm and lead others through it. So today, commit to the work. Don't rise just to get back what you lost. Rise to become a better man than you ever were before. A man your future self would be proud of. A man your younger self needed. A man who doesn't just survive, but leads. Drop a comment below. I take full responsibility for the man I become. Chapter 3. The Law of Renewal. Rebuild your identity from the inside out. To rise after you fall, you must first renew your mind. A man can change his habits, his behaviors, and even his surroundings, but if he doesn't change his identity, his rise will be short-lived. The law of renewal is about transforming who you are on the inside before you try to build anything on the outside. You can only rise as high as your sense of self will allow you. Too many men make the mistake of trying to rise back to a life they've already outgrown. When you fall, you don't return to the same person who fell. You're no longer that man. You've learned the hard way, and now your rise must reflect the man who has learned, not the man who was stuck in his old ways. The Bible says in Romans 12:2, "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." Transformation doesn't happen by doing the same thing over and over again, hoping for different results. It happens when you change the way you think, the way you see the world, and the way you see yourself. You are not the failure you've experienced. Your past is not your identity. It's just a chapter in your story. Your identity is not built on your mistakes, it's built on your purpose, vision, and belief in who you are becoming. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison. When he was finally released, the world saw a man who wasn't just physically free. He had become something more. His mind, his spirit, his identity had been forged in the fire of that experience. He rose not because the circumstances changed, but because he chose to renew himself from the inside. The power of your mind is extraordinary. Think about Joshua in the Bible, who was called to lead the Israelites after Moses. Joshua wasn't just leading an army, he was leading a new generation. And before he stepped into that role, God told him in Joshua 1:9, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord, your God, will be with you wherever you go." God was speaking to Joshua's heart, his identity. He needed Joshua to see himself as a leader before he could lead others into victory. And once Joshua embraced that truth, he led a nation to triumph. You must see yourself differently. If you keep seeing yourself as the man who failed, you will only attract more failure. If you see yourself as unworthy, you will push away every blessing meant for you. But when you see yourself as a man who has learned, a man who has overcome, and a man who is destined for greatness, that's when the rise begins. Your identity must be renewed to reflect the new, stronger version of you. The law of renewal requires you to renew your thoughts daily. Start by focusing on what you can control. Every morning, set the tone for your day with affirmations. Not empty words, but powerful truths. I am a man of strength. I am capable of great things. I am more than my past mistakes. These declarations are not about arrogance. They are about aligning your identity with your potential. Your past mistakes don't define you, but your present mindset will shape your future. And as you renew your identity, don't just do it mentally, make sure it shows in your actions. Your rise is not just a spiritual or mental shift, it's a physical transformation, it's walking with purpose, it's showing up for yourself even when no one is watching. When you change who you are on the inside, the world around you will shift accordingly. You are a new creation. The man who once fell is no longer the man who rises. The rise comes when you see yourself through the lens of who you are becoming, not who you were. Renew your mind, renew your identity, and watch how the world responds to the man you are becoming. Drop a comment below. I am renewing my identity to rise as the man I'm meant to be. Chapter 4. The Law of Vision. Rise with a purpose. Bigger than yourself. To rise after you fall, you must have a vision that pulls you forward. The final law, the one that makes all the difference, is vision. Without a clear, compelling vision for your life, your rise will be aimless and weak. A man who does not know where he is going is bound to fall again. But a man with a powerful vision becomes unstoppable. Vision is the fuel for your rise. It is the unwavering belief in the future you are creating that will give you the strength to rise when the world is against you. The Bible tells us without vision, the people perish. In Proverbs 29:18 it says, "Where there is no vision, the people perish." This is not just a spiritual truth, it is a law of life. If you don't know where you're going, you'll wander, make mistakes, and repeat old patterns. But when you have a vision, a powerful, compelling future, you move with purpose. You rise because you have something worth rising for. Think of Thomas Edison, the man who gave the world the light bulb. Edison failed thousands of times before he succeeded. But what kept him going wasn't a mere desire to succeed. It was his vision of how electricity could change the world. It wasn't about him. It was about the future he was creating for others. Edison didn't let his falls define him. He let his vision drive him. A vision that's bigger than yourself makes your rise inevitable. Without a vision, you are just bouncing from failure to failure, hoping to find success. But when your vision is bigger than you draw strength from a deeper well. Jesus knew this well. Before his greatest trial, he prayed, "Not my will, but yours be done." Luke 22:42. His vision was clear. He was not here for himself. He was here for the redemption of the world. And that vision gave him the strength to rise from the greatest fall in history, the cross. To rise, you must choose a vision that challenges you. The greater the vision, the greater the pain you must endure to achieve it. If your vision is small, just getting by or regaining what you lost, your effort will match it. But if your vision is world-changing, if it's focused on service, on greatness, on the legacy you'll leave behind, that vision will pull you through the darkest nights of your soul. What's your vision? Your vision must be rooted in your purpose. It must be so powerful that when you fall, you look up and say, "I will rise because my vision is bigger than this moment." It's a vision that doesn't just change your life, it changes the lives of those around you. It's the reason you wake up early and stay up late. It's why you endure hardship and push through pain, because every step forward is one step closer to the future you are creating. The most powerful men throughout history understood the power of a clear vision. Winston Churchill rose from the depths of failure, war, and defeat to become the leader who stood against Hitler. His vision was simple: victory. His belief in a greater cause pushed him through unimaginable challenges. Churchill famously said, "Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." This is the power of vision. It keeps you going when everything inside you says, "Stop." A man who rises doesn't do so because he is stronger than others, but because his vision makes him willing to endure. Vision is what gives you the strength to rise again, even after your darkest moments. So today, define your vision. Let it be bigger than your past failures. Let it be bigger than your comfort. Let it be the fire that fuels every step you take. Rise not for yourself, but for the future you are building. Rise not because it's easy, but because your vision demands it. Drop a comment below. My vision is bigger than my falls. I will rise and fulfill it. May this video serve as a powerful reminder to every man who watches it. The greatest rise comes after the greatest fall, but only if we have the courage to own it, take responsibility, renew ourselves, and rise with a vision. Keep the faith and rise stronger than ever.